When you think about trying to reflect on or become self-aware about what you're tolerating, what are the situations where you find yourself saying, oh, this is never going to change. It's always going to be like that. It's fine. This is just how life is. Those are triggers that should be signaling your brain to go, wait a minute, it doesn't have to be like this. We create stories in our head. We build things up based on one simple action, and then we throw all the past things in there. Welcome back to Unapologetic Rabble-Rousers. I'm DocShellie.
And I am Carla Lewis. And oh, are we going someplace fun following that last episode about unlearning? Let's dig in, Michelle.
Yes. We're going to talk about things that we tolerate that are draining us. A lot of us are walking around just tolerating life. And we've convinced ourselves it's no big deal.
No, but the fact of the matter is that toleration is sucking the life out of us. Seriously, we're spending so much energy tolerating, but we're making it okay. We're making it okay for everyone around us. Just please believe me, it's okay.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
It's not.
Yeah. The voice in our head that just keeps telling us it's fine. It's how life is. It's normal. It's not normal. It's not healthy.
No, it's not healthy. And it starts with, how many times are we going to say this over the course of all of our episodes? It starts with awareness. Awareness that tolerance is really driving the decisions we're making, the way we engage with people, the decisions we make about what we will and will not do. And so we need to talk about how that is influencing, this whole notion is influencing just how we engage with those and the events around us.
Yeah. Excuse me, we can edit that out.
Burp.
Just did it again. I shouldn't have had chocolate. Yes. And I think to your point that awareness and self-reflection is really, really important as you think about naming those things that you're tolerating. Where are you compromising? Because once you see it, now you have to choose, am I going to keep tolerating it or am I going to do something about it?
And don't you think probably, Michelle, that many times we actually don't want to take that kind of a close look? Because if we do, and we discover those things, then we have to make a choice. Okay, am I going to keep on just keeping on? Or am I going to do something about this on my own behalf? And
like, and so many of the things we've talked about come into play here, right? Am I going to set a new boundary? Am I going to stop tolerating that person who puts me down all the time? Am I going to do something about the energy suckers in my life? There's a lot of different things that could come up. Am I going to now use my voice in a different way? Am I going to speak up more? There's a lot that can come up when you start to think about the question, what am I tolerating in my life that doesn't serve me?
It seems like an important moment for listeners to take to say, okay, you know, that notion about energy suckers, take a look. You need to be able to take a look at the things that are robbing you of the opportunity to just be the fullest version of you, engaged and interested and contributing in the way you want to, because of this whole tolerance thing. We need to take a look at it. You need to take that pause. And I wonder first, what's a good way, Michelle, to think about how do we look around at what might be sucking us dry, sucking the energy out of us, taking the joy out of it, and forcing us to expend energy, which is not really where we want to put it.
I think that's a great question. And like for me, when we started talking about this topic, I was reflecting back in my life of where are things that I used to tolerate that I don't tolerate anymore. Because I'm sure there's things right now that I'm not aware of that I'm tolerating. I will examine that myself. But I think back to, I've shared this story before about my Dad used to always call me really early on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
I know. And like I tolerated it for a long time. It drove me nuts forever, as long as I can remember. But it was like, it's fine. It's my dad. Like it's fine. It's okay. And then I was like, this is no longer okay. I stay up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't want a phone call at 8 or 9. I like nothing more in the morning to lay in bed, read a book, have some water, think about my
Journal.
day, do some journaling, and then I'll get up and start my day. I don't get to do that very often because I go to bed so late and sometimes I have
Mhm.
to get up for meetings and clients and things like that. So I don't get to just lounge. Saturdays, when I'm not playing pickleball, I can lounge.
We all
But
have our things. Yeah.
so I had to have a conversation with my dad, and we all know it didn't work the first couple times because he still kept doing it. And I've said this a million times. Now he will call me at 10:01 because my rule is don't call me before 10 on the weekend. 10:01, he doesn't do it every Saturday, but at 10:01, if he needs something, he's on the phone. But and it was like it was normal. It's always been like that. I didn't want to hurt his feelings. It's just, it's okay. It's fine. It wasn't a big deal, but it started to be a big deal.
Yeah.
And so think about when you think about trying to reflect on or become self aware about what you're tolerating, what are the situations where you find yourself saying, oh, this is never going to change? It's always going to be like that. It's fine. This is just how life is. Those are triggers that should be signaling your brain to go, wait a minute, it doesn't have to be like this.
And being able to stand up to yourself and say, look, you have a choice. You do have a choice. You're going to keep on tolerating it. And the resentment, once you become aware of the fact that you are tolerating it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just keep on keeping on, there's a whole new element that enters that whole equation, which is about that resentment. And how often does that resentment end up being focused on the other person in the equation
Mm-hmm.
and not self? Because they don't know. They don't know to stop doing whatever it is that you're tolerating and you're going
Right.
forward and such. They don't know that. But all of a sudden, or maybe not so all of a sudden, but it builds. And then you are acting from a place and engaging from a place of resentment.
Mm-hmm.
And then that turns into, okay, I resent the fact that you're doing this. When
Right.
you want to say, I don't like it. But the fact is, they may not know.
But you never
But
told them, and you have granted permission all these years or months or weeks, days, whatever it is. Yeah.
absolutely. And the fact is that people disappoint us. We use that, you disappointed me. And the fact is, the issue is not about the action they took, but the expectations that you established. Okay. It was okay
Mm-hmm.
for them to be doing what they have been and will continue to do until it's not okay. So
Exactly.
if we do not calibrate the expectations we have, we cannot expect anybody to understand them. They're not mind readers.
What? Why not?
I'm just saying.
It's also a leadership pet peeve of mine where
Mm,
leaders just assume that their employees know certain things, even though they've never had a conversation. I can't tell you how many leaders I've had conversations with. This person is always late to work. We have flex time. What does being late to work mean? They should be here by 8:30. Do they know that? Because flex time says they can come in between 6 and 9:30.
yeah,
Well, they should just know the rest
they
of the
should.
team's here. Okay.
And how would they know that? I remember that discussion. We've had it over
You
several
didn't tell
episodes.
them that. Yeah. But
They're
it's the
not there.
same
How
thing
do they
in
know?
exactly. But it's the same thing in life. We have expectations of people that we haven't shared. We have this expectation of you, and now you've disappointed me because you don't meet that expectation. But I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to sit over here and be grumpy about it and be offended that you have insulted me and you didn't meet my expectations.
And
But it's okay because that's just how it goes.
I have to jump in on that whole you disappointed me. So that right there is it's a huge key to the fact that it's not about them.
Right.
Because they can't do to you what you don't let
Allow.
them do.
Amen,
They
sister.
can't make you feel what you don't choose to feel. So anytime, I'm just using this as a test, I'm offering it as a test. If you are thinking, you've disappointed me, there's a reason. And the reason has nothing to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to do with them. They cannot disappoint you. You make a choice to not be happy about whatever. And why is it that that is happening? It's because they don't know any different. They don't know any better. And you've already brought it up, Michelle. I just expect them. Why? Why is it? Why are you able to just expect other people to know and do and say and be the way they should be?
Right.
Who the hell are you? Just
Who the
saying.
hell are you?
Who the hell are you?
And
How can you expect that? Okay, I'll step down. I'm stepping down.
No, it's a very valid point. And we create situations, we create stories in our head, we build things up
Mm-hmm.
based on one simple action, and then we throw all the past things in there, and we assign meaning to stuff that may or may not be the right meaning. My tattoo says nothing has meaning except for the meaning I give it. So when I find myself in those situations where I'm frustrated, I'm burned out, I'm tolerating things, it's I got to look at that. That's my problem. That's not anybody else's problem. I haven't addressed it. I've given them permission. I might have thought I'm just going to go along to get along. I don't do that very often, but you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do.
But when you think about those things that you've been tolerating, you why is it okay for you to tolerate them? And sometimes I think particularly with women, there's also an element of guilt when we look at we want more, but we're going to tolerate less because who am I to want more? I already have a good life, but I want more.
Oh, being able to let it be okay that things matter and that you have goals and ambitions and visions and dreams, and there isn't anything in the world that can discount them if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do discount those things, hell happens. It's a personal hell. So get a feel for when you're feeling like that. Where do you feel it in your body? Where in your body do you feel that? I'm going to name it tension. It might have a great better name, something flowery and shit. It's about where do you feel it? And how do you then become aware of the fact that maybe in your head, because you're so practiced, I'm sorry, maybe in your head because you're so practiced at okaying it, dismissing it, but your body is telling you differently.
Yeah.
Becoming aware of even those internal signals that are saying, you know what? This may be something you want to take a look at because there may be something going on here that you're not at a head level ready to acknowledge. But we, the body, we're trying to send you a message.
Yeah. I'm kind of snarky anyway, but my snarkiness will just escalate when I'm tolerating stuff with certain people.
And what does that look like?
Very snarky. It's not really nice.
Well, okay. So what does snarky look like? What does it feel like?
That's why. What does it feel like? It's kind of funny because it feels internally. It's like I can just feel like a little bubbling. But the snarky, like as soon as I'm snarky, I'm like, whew, okay, I feel better. The other person doesn't feel better because I've just ripped them a new one.
It's like a giant passing of gas.
Yeah.
So,
It's like my resentment has been building up for months and months and months and months and months. And then I'm just like, wow.
boom. Oh
And
my
the
gosh.
person's like, oh my God, what is wrong with you?
It comes out like an attack.
Yeah.
There's this explosion from who knows where out of the blue.
Yeah.
And I
That's
think
what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
Is like you're on the receiving end of somebody who's been tolerating you or something you do or something you say for a long time. And then all of a sudden they're like, what? I did this to my dad years ago. He used to say whatever all the time.
Mm.
And it infuriated me because it was a signal that he was done with the conversation, even though I was not done. But
Oh,
rather than saying, I don't want to talk about this anymore, he'd go, whatever. And so I was like, one day I was like, who do you think you are? I just went off on him. You don't get to whatever me anymore. And he was like, what are you talking about? Like he didn't even know he was doing it. No, like just no awareness of the impact it was having on me because I was tolerating it. And I would have no reaction to it until the day I just blew. And I was like, stop saying that to me. This is what I think every time you say that. It's a big F you to me, and I don't like it. And he was like, no, just don't want to talk about it.
and
Well,
but
say that.
it's so interesting, right? There was this
I made it mean stuff that he
Yes.
didn't make it mean. The whole point.
Right. He didn't know.
I assigned meaning to stuff that he was saying, and he did not have the same meaning to it.
And it built and built and built, and then
Yeah.
he's going, what the hell?
He's like, what is wrong with you? Do you have a bad day? You wake up on the wrong side of the bed?
So we could have a whole episode about that, the whole notion of, and how do we respond to stuff like that? And where's that coming from? And what does it trigger? And,
Yeah.
but it comes back down to awareness, being aware of the fact that we are putting ourselves in a place of tolerance that is ours to own.
Mm-hmm.
It's nobody else's responsibility that I'm tolerating something. People are just being how they be.
People are being people.
That's right. And life is lifing, and we are sitting there and we're having this stuff. And so becoming aware of what it is that signals to us that we're tolerating, if we're not actually connecting to it emotionally or just in thought.
Yeah.
And being able to say, okay, now what do I do about that? What is it to be done when I say, oh gosh, look at that. I'm having this reaction right now, and it's because I've been tolerating this. And I've been tolerating this for a while. Now, what are some things that I can do now that I'm aware? I may not be aware of the whole of it, but I'm aware of the fact that I'm ready to blow. And it's actually not their fault. So what do I do about that?
I think it's important to dig in to see where the impact of that tolerance is. And by that, I mean, is it causing you emotional baggage, exhaustion? Are you not honoring your own values because you are trying to tolerate someone who you normally wouldn't tolerate, but you do because you've done it for so long?
Does this have anything to do with boundaries?
Yeah, the more you tolerate, the harder it gets to say no and to back off and hold yourself accountable to boundaries you've set. It's a very simple boundary. This whole don't call me before 10 o'clock on the weekend, right?
Mm.
It seems very simplistic. It took a long time. Now all my friends know. It's funny to me because they're like, oh, I won't call you before 10. Or I'm going to be in your area because they live a couple hours away. And they're like, do you want to meet for breakfast? But we'll have to do it before 10. I can function before 10. It's not a big deal. It's funny how it's become such a big thing. But for a long time, a lot of people couldn't honor it because it wasn't convenient for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry that you get up at the ass crack of dawn and start your day and you're halfway through your day at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's not my problem. You can call me during the week we don't have to wait till Saturday at 10:01 to call me. But it's funny the conversations I've had around that.
Mhm.
But when I instituted that boundary, a lot of people were like, that's inconvenient for me. It's inconvenient for me when you call me at 8:30. You know,
So
I
we need
don't
to have a
like it. So
conversation,
I'm
right?
sorry
Okay.
that's inconvenient for you. I don't know what to tell you. That is my new rule, and I am going to stick by it. And it took a long time for a lot of people to like, now they just accept it and it's fine. I didn't lose any friends over it. Nobody got super mad at me, but they were like, this is inconvenient because you've always let me call you at whatever time. It's fine. You can call me at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'll answer the phone wide awake. Don't call me at 8 in the morning on the weekend. I'm not going to answer the phone. So,
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. You just triggered a memory of a coworker of ours who was sending text messages to our boss at
yes,
2:30 a.m. and
2:30 in
the
the morning.
boss had kids and said, "Do not
Yeah,
be sending me text messages
that was funny.
in the dead of the night.
Yeah,
Send an email if you really want me to know that you were up at that time and whatever."
yeah,
I'm sorry. Okay.
that was funny.
Oh my God, it was awful. But yeah.
But you think about the things you're tolerating, where is it really impacting your life?
Mhm.
Is it loss of identity? Are you building resentment? Are you not adhering to your own boundaries? Are you just fatigued from it? There's a whole lot of ways it can impact you. So I think it's important when you recognize these are the things I'm tolerating. What's the impact on you? And that will then help you guide how to start to shift that. Because it could be, if it's something like, oh, I don't think I deserve more, that's an internal dialogue you have to have with yourself. If it's
Mhm.
something like, these people don't honor my values, that's a conversation you have to have with people that don't honor your values. So I think it's important to dig in a little bit and really see what it is that you're tolerating that you don't want to tolerate anymore, and what's the impact it's having on you physically, mentally, all of that.
And then taking ownership, saying,
Yes.
okay, with that awareness, the first step in any program, with that awareness, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, like some subtle things as you think about what you're tolerating. Eye rolls. Like, are you finding yourself rolling your eyes every time a certain person calls you? That you're tolerating that. You
That
clench your
pause when
jaw.
the phone rings and you see who it is, and it's like,
I don't want to answer that.
no, send to,
Yeah, send a voicemail.
think about it. Those are all, your actions are giving you clues.
hmm
You
hmm
just need to follow the clues.
Exactly. Like things weighing on you, things you can't get out of your head. There's so many triggers, I think, so many signs that we should pay attention to understand what we're tolerating. And
So,
then what will happen if you stop tolerating it? I
mhm.
think it's a really good question to ask yourself. If I stop tolerating this, what's that going to look like?
And the cost of continuing to tolerate versus the reward
Yeah,
of stepping up to saying, no, it stops now.
exactly. Exactly. It's not selfish to stop tolerating what is in your way and what potentially causes you harm. It's a really smart thing to do because we all deserve to not tolerate stuff.
Well, with that, I'm Carla Lewis.
I'm DocShellie. We'll see you next time. If you like what you're hearing, make sure you're following us. Let us know. We always, on our Facebook page, always love to engage with our listeners, and any feedback you have for us or any new topics you want to hear about, let us know.
Take care.
It's important to dig in a little bit and really see what it is that you're tolerating that you don't want to tolerate anymore, and what's the impact it's having on you physically, mentally, all of that.
And then taking ownership, saying,
Yes.
okay, with that awareness, the first step in any program, with that awareness, what are you going to do about it?